What's up, Paul?
Michael, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am well. You're definitely doing better than I am, but I'm here. I made it. I Yesterday was my son's birthday, so I have had about 85 people at my house all day today. People I've never met, parents from preschool, people that I like, people that I don't like, family, packed house. It's still going on. Hopefully, my mic's not catching up picking up the music outside. But I haven't gotten to watch the Mets. I haven't really gotten to do much of anything today except set up for this party. How about you? How you doing?
I woke up this morning. I went all the way to I think the West Village to try a sandwich I saw on Instagram. I sent Paul a picture. He was like, "Screw you, dude." So you're clearly having a better morning than I am. I did watch Nolan McLean's debut. I thought he was excellent. I wish they pushed him a little further, but got out there clean. Mets are winning 1-0. Assumed by the time the show ends, they will probably be losing as the way they go these days. But we're not here to talk about the Mets. We're not here to talk about what we ate.
You're right, but let me interrupt you because I
Yeah.
want to start the show off with a story because I went to the Mets game last night. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I took my in-laws who are from Seattle. They're Mariners fans.
Ew.
Felt like a good
Sorry.
idea at the time. At the time I bought the tickets, they were playing well. Wasn't great, but when I was there last night, I was I think we were signing my son up for the kids club or something. We were at this like kiosk thing, and there were these two dudes who were just like grilling me, and I'm a little like socially awkward. I had no idea why these two dudes were staring at me. I assumed they were probably thinking, "What is this dude doing with this woman who is much better looking than him?" Because that happens sometimes. But these two dudes were grilling me, and then they were talking to each other. They were obviously like talking about me, and I was like, "Man, that was weird." And we walk away, right? As I'm walking away, I hear, "Where's Meegs?" As loud as could
Oh,
be. Where's Meegs? So we all know this already. This does not come as a surprise to everybody, but I'm here to be the Robin to your Batman. I am the vehicle that helps bring what is Meegs along. So you got fanboys out there, dude. You got people looking for you at the
Jesus.
Mets game last night.
Jesus, man. I did not think we had the motion like that. So appreciate those guys for listening. Hopefully they're in the chat right now. If you guys saw Paul last night, call into the show and show yourselves. That's all I gotta say. But it may be the preseason. The Jets are playing the Giants. The Giants haven't beat the Jets in a regular season game since the Obama administration. I know you like when we use presidencies to talk about time. You know, a certain member of the Giants made some spicy comments about the Jets quarterback. We think we're going to see Justin Fields tonight. We think Thibodeau's going to play tonight. Where were you, and how did you feel when you first heard about Thibodeau's comments, basically saying that, like, well, I can't really judge him as a quarterback because all he does is run around?
You know what? The first thing I thought was, thank God we didn't select him. Because like I remember at the time thinking like this dude's a little Jamal Adamsy. The way he dresses, the way he speaks, and so that was like where my gut went right out of the gate was like, thank God we didn't draft him. And then that quickly turned to how do we embarrass him on TV on Saturday? And so that's really all I've been thinking about since then. I've been talking to a lot of Giant fan friends, just saying we're going to run at Kayvon Thibodeau 40 times tonight. And I wish he was playing more than probably the first quarter, because I think that if you do just run at him all night, that's probably a good strategy. And I honestly think that that's going to be the scouting report on the Giants all year, is just run as hard as you can right directly at those edges. But you know what? At the end of the day, like Kayvon Thibodeau has been a disappointment for the Giants. Like they don't like him. Right. They're hoping that Abdul Carter can teach him how to be a pro. And that's saying a lot for a guy who's just coming out of Penn State, as good as he is. And they're hoping that Brian Burns can help him. So they don't even like this guy. So what to me this reads like is a guy who's probably off the Giants in 2 years. Whenever his rookie contract is up, he finds himself somewhere else. Maybe he builds a career eventually. But man, what a clown, dude.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing where I was just like, this is a comment that Giants fans would say a Jets player would make. Like, this is what they would call a little brother-esque comment. And I just laughed when I heard it the first time because I'm just like, you were taken, what was he, 7th overall, 5th overall? I think it was 5th overall because Evan Neal was 7th. I think that's how that draft went. And since the Giants have drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, they've traded capital and given $150 million to Brian Burns in his position, and they've used the 3rd overall pick on another edge rusher, Abdul Carter, at his position. So what does that really say about you? I think there was plenty of trade rumors about him leading up to the draft. I think I remember when they were talking about trading up for Dart, before the draft, people are they going to use Thibodeau as the way to instead of using draft picks, is he going to be their chip to move up, because he just kind of seemed like surplus to requirements for them. I just don't think he's ever been as good as he was billed to be, especially after his freshman year at Oregon. He just hasn't progressed. The pass rush moveset really has never developed. It's still kind of ordinary, basic. It's not very complex. And dude, no one on the Giants defensive line besides Dexter Lawrence is great against the run. They're just small. So this is why you drafted Armand Mambeau. This is why you draft, AVT. Olu Vashon is more of a pass blocker, but Olu's, I think, got better in the run game and got a little bit of a worse rep than during his draft size about how he is as a run blocker. I think we're going to see Simpson tonight. I didn't see him on the inactives list when I briefly glanced at it. Hopefully they start Tippmann. I think the Josh Myers thing has run its course, and he's just good depth, not really pushing for a role anymore. I want to see them pin pulling and putting these edge rushers in the freaking ground. That's what I want to see tonight more than anything for the Jets' first drives. Honestly, nothing would make me respect Tanner Engstrand more if they go and just do 8 runs, no passes, and score on this Giants defense. Be make us pass, buddy. Our quarterback doesn't have to pass to beat you.
100%. And that's I think, it kind of dovetails well into the next thing we're going to talk about of what do we want to see is everybody in the stadium knows what's happening tonight, right? Everybody knows that this pass rush is good. So what can you do in a situation where everybody knows what's about to happen, right? Can you enforce your will when the team that you're playing against knows that you're going to try to run it down their throat? Because we want to stay out of passing situations. We want to stay out of situations where Fields is running around back there and Abdul Carter and Brian Burns are chasing him down. So again, it's a really great point about such a little brother comment. Why on earth would you do that right before a preseason game? Not even a game that matters. So you can't even say it's gamesmanship and you're trying to get in their head. This is a preseason game, dude.
It's not even something you play this season. It's there's no, it's I don't think the Jets play Washington this year. If they had we don't actually play the Packers this year. Could you imagine Quinn Williams being Jordan Love's kind of erratic, or maybe kind of be it's not a division rival. There's no gamesmanship. No. You're not playing them. It's just dude, it's the preseason. Okay.
There's no reason to do it. And Aaron Glenn comes from the Parcells tree. Parcells is famous for don't you dare give the other team any kind of material. And also in the other direction, Parcells is going to hang it up on the wall if you say it about him, and he's going to use it, right? So even though this is a preseason game, I bet there was some kind of Aaron Glenn testing out some motivational techniques this week and being hey, you're going to let this dude that wears these shirts and sunglasses talk about you guys like that? What are you going to do tonight? Are we going to run it down their throats or what? I want to pause real quick. GD Jets, I almost said your real name because I know your real name. I'm glad I didn't. Something to work on, a mental note for the future. I pinned the link to call in on all the social channels. So on YouTube, it's a pinned comment. On Instagram, it's a pinned comment. I also dropped it in the Discord. So it's in the Discord Jets chat if you want to go there. And it should be a sub post in the Twitter as well, because GD Jets, I see that you commented from Twitter. So it should be a sub post under the live thread. That's the link to join. We'll probably start taking callers around 6:15. Thank you very much. The link is in all streaming forums tonight, as opposed to just Discord. So we'll see what this looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see who's coming out for this. So we're really excited to talk to you guys tonight.
Absolutely. So, I mean, look, I probably am a little over the top wanting to clown Kayvon Thibodeau tonight because, again, the game doesn't really matter that much. Obviously, there's things we want to see out of the Jets offense and everything, but I feel like we could play really well. I think could look good. Membu and Fashanu could hold up well against the edges. We could win the game. But if they don't run directly at Thibodeau, I might leave tonight feeling a little empty. I kind of want it at this point.
It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but Do I want our twos to make Jackson Dart, look bad and like have Giants fans second guessing themselves? Absolutely. Do I want to have the first team offense run, the ball at will down their throats and give people people have just been talking about Giants pass rush. It's like their Giants offense, I don't think is going to score a ton of points to begin with, so that's going to be an element of it. But like their Giants defensive line is not like the Eagles. Like they don't have bigger rushers who can stop the run like the way Brandon Graham used to, or like you see like some of the better defensive lines, like even like the good 49ers defensive lines. To give Salah some credit, like Nick Bosa is excellent against the run. Like Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner were excellent against the run. Like that is a complete unit. The Giants can absolutely hit the quarterback, but you gotta get put yourself in the positions to do so. So also, I don't want to see Brian Dable smile. I don't want to see Brian Dable smile. I saw that fat baby talking to Eric Watts, complaining about something. Like, dude, all that guy does is just try to put himself in positions where he can just talk to people and they can't literally hit him. He did it with Wayne Martindale. He does it all the time. I can't wait to see that guy moping on the sidelines tonight. So it's a preseason game. I don't care. I don't want to see that guy happy. I want them to beat the fuck out of the Giants.
Absolutely. 100%. We have a guest right now. Dan, GD Jets, I am going to get to you. You're next on the list. Joe was slightly ahead of you, so we're going to go with Joe first. Joe,
I just heard Meegs cursing, so I had to call in quick. I got excited. I'm calling in for 60 seconds because I want to let everyone else get some action. I need the top preseason bet to put in tonight from you guys after you hit last week. Before I log in and spread my chips around, give me one thing I need to bet on tonight.
Paul, you had it. You texted it to me today. Plus 178, Jets over 150 rushing yards.
Yep. I think it hits easy.
Plus 178? That's nice. I like that, actually.
I accidentally parlayed it with Panthers money line, and FanDuel wouldn't let me cash it out. I think I fat fingered it. But I like that. And I also there was plus 175 plus rushing yards. That was plus 310. And if that Donovan Edwards rush holds last week, they're well over 200, right? So I think I like a sprinkle on both of those, both at plus money, one at plus 178, one at plus 310. Meegs, did you find anything you like?
I do like the Jets plus 4.5 and the under 39.5. I think it's plus 250. That's the one I like for tonight. But
last question. They're not going to actually play Sauce tonight, are they?
I hope not. I hope he's just on the sideline, just, coaching up the defensive backs. Malachi Moore makes a good play, and you see Sauce with a mini headset, which doesn't connect anything on the sideline, just jumping up and down. That's what I'm hoping for.
Please, God. I have two kids attacking me right now. We're watching. Godspeed, guys. I will see everyone next Saturday at Stout.
Yes. Buy your tickets.
Bye, Joe.
All right.
Bye,
guys.
Joe. What a guy.
All right.
Still on, he's just guys on parroting dude till 7:00 where he can live tweet a game. Smart man.
No one has the level of brain illness that we all have as much as Joe does.
Exactly.
Dan, GD Jets, come back whenever you're ready. That was a short appearance from Joe. We have you in the queue here. I'll put you on first as soon as you come back. Meegs, what's next?
I mean, what do you want to see from the Jets offense in the way, is there, besides, just shutting up Kayvon Thibodeau, is there players maybe on the secondary side who are fighting for a role? We know Isaiah Davis isn't playing tonight, so it's probably be more Donovan Edwards snaps. Do you want to see more Brees touches? Do you want to see more Braylon touches? Do you want to see the preseason star that is Andrew Beck, not John Beck? I feel like we're going to be making that mistake all season because the Jets know him. Thanks, Jets know him. Which secondary character do you want to see pop tonight?
Yeah, so not really a secondary character, but I said already that I want to see them. I want to see what they can do when the whole stadium knows what they're going to do. But secondary to that, what can you do in terms of getting the passing game going in a situation like that? So fine, I understand we're probably going to be 60 to 70% running the ball tonight. That's great, right? Can you do something crafty where you can slip Justin Fields outside of the edge, get him on the run rolling out? Can you do some creative stuff with play action? What can you do to neutralize the edge rushers coming down? Because at the end of the day, this is a practice. It's a glorified practice. And the Jets are going to be in situations this year where they're down and they need to pass and they're against nasty edge rushers and you can't really run the ball, even though you could probably have success with it. So show me what you can do against a challenging front and a pretty good secondary, by the way, too, to create in the passing game when like kind of straight up, it's not really there, but you need to make it happen. So I'd like to see that. I don't know why I'm still on the Jeremy Ruckert hope train, but like, my God, man, like, please do something. Please show sign of life of some kind, because it's such a good story. We all really want him to succeed. And so I'd like to see Jeremy Ruckert. I'm fully on the Donovan Edwards train. So that was a good call out too. Like I'm getting,
he's going to get plenty of run tonight. I think like I could see him getting like a 15 touch night at this point.
And probably like first half action. It's not just mop up duty for him tonight. He's probably going to get it in.
He's going to be in the second quarter, I would expect.
Yeah, some reasonable competition. So I'd like to see some stuff from him. And then I'd like to see some more from on the defensive side, like some of the younger guys that we didn't really see much of last week, like Tyler Barron. Where you at, right? Kiko Maigoa, where you at? Are you on this team? Even like Watts, McGregor, Leonard Taylor was visible last week, but like all those younger guys, it's starting to feel like Tefele is taking control of the other D tackle job. But like some of the other players on that defensive line and in the linebacker core, where are you guys at? Like, are we players here or not? So I'd like to see some of that. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the defensive line rotation I think is a big one, where it's just like, it's not a unit I think is relatively deep. I think Jermaine's progressing even better than I was hoping. Like, if you told me that Jermaine was going to be on the PUP list to start this year, I would have been, disappointed, but I wouldn't have been shocked. The fact that, he's practicing well before like the midpoint of August. Like, we know he's not going to play tonight, but maybe if there was a real game tonight, he probably would have been ready, which I think is a welcome sign that you're going to have Jermaine from week one, which is a big boost to the room. But, I don't think this is the 2022 or 2023 Jets defensive lines where like, wow, they could actually roll like 7-8 guys deep. And you want guys to, pop in a way where it's like, I can trust this guy, where it's not like a Kinlaw situation where it's just like this guy, every time he's on the field, you just know coaches Wednesday to Saturday are just circling him on the film. Just like, when this guy's on the field, we're going right at him. Same way, like how like a defensive back, when one of the guys is just a sieve, they always go right at them. Like, I just want the Jets to maybe find some guys where it's like, yeah, Quinn Williams and Will McDonald would probably be the only stars on this defensive line. But like, can you guys just find a patch of guys, 4 or 5 of them that can just be solid, where they're not going to get attacked week after week? Because I love the speed the Jets have at linebacker, but Quincy and Sherwood aren't big. Like, Quincy's not a big backer. Sherwood was a converted safety. Like, those guys need to be kept clean to be their most effective in the defensive line. We think through good coaching, the scheme is going to, hopefully keep them clean, but some of these guys are going to have to play. And the way Tefele's been playing is great. The Cowher injury is a bummer because you would like to see him making similar progress. Leonard Taylor, like I said, doesn't seem like he's getting the full run in practice. He seems more like a when a lights comes on player. The way he got after was it Malik Willis last week and set up the safety was great. But you just want to see more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some kind folks in the chat, Bobby, reminding me that Maigoa is not playing tonight. Kiko's not playing tonight. Apologies. I was at a kid's party all day. I'm looking at the inactives now. Chris Boyd, Byron Coward, Isaiah Davis, Jermaine Johnson, Alan Lazard, Kiko, Tyrod, Azaria, and Quinnen Williams. So not really any surprises there. Yeah, man. I mean, I go back and forth between like, who gives a shit about this? And like, it's the Snoopy Bowl, and like, it's pathetic for anybody to care about this. But then there's like this dark corner of my soul that just does want to humiliate Giants fans, and I just can't help myself.
Yeah, I would love to win 30-10 and run for 182 yards, basically like they did last week. Oh, a Badlands favorite is joining us, Dan, host of Buck the Trend. Dan heard us talk about D-line. Probably in the wild, he's like, I got to get on here. I got to talk to the boys. How's it going, man?
The senses get tingling, man. I have to run over to the mic. Join y'all over here. What's going on?
Not much, man.
How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I'm ready for this game. One of the fondest Jets Giants preseason memory. Maybe I shouldn't say fond because of what happened, but that Eli Manning hit. Truly, one of my one moment I will never forget.
That's one of those things that, like, I wish that there was a way to pull statistics on how many times that picture gets sent to each other among Jets fans every year. Because I know that goes back and forth in my group chats. Like that'll pop up every once in a while. That's a great shot.
Good old Calvin Pace, man. Just a legend in every sense.
Joe's favorite. Always. I don't think any podcast respects Calvin Pace more than the Badlands podcast across all platforms.
Truly. I mean, very few players have had such an impact on a franchise. And I think people don't understand how long and just the random things he did also along the way. They're just like, oh yeah, that was Calvin Pace.
Calvin Pace?
Beautiful stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight, man.
Yeah, so since we have you here, we got to take advantage of the strengths. Tefele has obviously gotten most of the headlines. Like I said, we talked about the Cowher injury. Haven't really got to see him live action. Leonard Taylor, who I think a lot of the fan base has hope for, seems to pop more in the games and the practices. Who has caught your eye the most, and who are you hoping pops in these next 2 preseason games? So hopefully add some depth to this rotation and has Jets fans. I won't be opposed if they do it, but not exactly living and dying by a August 30th Jadeveon Clowney signing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, hate to give a boring answer here, but it's got to be Tufele. I think the thing about him is just that I didn't expect this much juice, particularly on passing downs. As a pass rusher, I didn't expect it. That's on me. I should have foreseen this, but it's just how active he was. What I loved is that in the first game, they had the penalty where you're just like, oh man, they're not a great start. You're a little like, man, what's going on? Hope they're okay. This is not a good way to start things. And then the next play, he's in the backfield, and you're just like, okay, hold on a second. Like, this guy's getting off the snap quicker than everybody else. He's using his hands really well. I love that he goes for the retro look with the no gloves. It's a good way to set yourself apart.
No gloves, no sleeves. I love that look. You can just let to see the entire Neil's entire tree truck arms. Is just such a sweet aesthetic.
I think that's a rule in the culture. Like, you're not allowed to wear gloves or sleeves.
None of that. And all your tattoos have to be on either on like your back or the other parts of your shoulders where you can't see them on the football field. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Dan,
go ahead.
Is there anything, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but like, I think you said, you didn't really see it coming. I don't think anybody saw it coming. Bengals fans are beside themselves. In hindsight, is there anything that you're like, okay, like I get why, and again, it's one preseason game. I keep trying to qualify everything like we're not overreacting, but like,
for sure.
Is there anything in hindsight where you're like, okay, I understand why he might be looking better in this scheme with this group than he did, next to the guys he was in Cincinnati?
Yeah, we've seen it with players that came to the Jets, ironically, like a lot of those players that got freed up in the Saleh scheme. One of the best examples I can think of is the like level of joy that Sheldon Rankins played with while he was with the Jets. He's just like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. Like, same thing with Quentin Jefferson. They're just like, yes, this is what I wanted to do my whole career. Like, I think that level of like comfort within a scheme can really unlock a player, and that does seem like that might be happening with Tufele. I think one of the things I also did, to your point of it being like one preseason game, is I had asked Will and Connor about what Leonard Taylor before the game, and we're kind of like, just wondering how things are going, basically, and eventually Will basically like, yeah, Tufele's doing really well. Like, and then after he's like popping and stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay, hold on a second. Like, what's happening here? There might actually be something here. So it's like, it is one preseason game, but it is the evidence of something he seems to have been showing in training camp. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, I think, with a lot of players, it's usually just the scheme sort of unlocks this type of energy from them of like, hey, I can do this. I'm used to doing this, and I can kind of thrive here. And sometimes players aren't aware of when, their output kind of drops when they're kind of frustrated with the scheme. As much as people would like to think that they don't do that, I think it's just what happens.
Yeah, Dan, I don't want to pump the Giants tires too much, but this Giants defensive line, as you know, a connoisseur of D-line play, is a lot of talent.
Yeah.
They do one thing very well. They have one all-world player in Dexter Lawrence who might just make everything work. What, you know, if the Giants defensive line hits, are the run defense concerns valid because of how small their edges are, or is Dexter Lawrence just like ready for a DPOY level season where it's just going to mitigate it?
It's 100% Dexter Lawrence. Like the way that people have kind of understood as time has gone along that Quinnen Williams is the most important player on the defensive line. It's the same thing with the Giants. If he's not there, teams will be like, oh, I have an open gate in the middle of the trenches, and that edge is small. I'm gonna run power. like it's not actually that difficult, to be fair. Like when you don't have that presence in the middle, teams will do whatever they want. And when you're talking edge, like one of the common refrains from coaches is like, what's the best way to attack a really disruptive edge player? Often they'll just be like, yeah, go right at him. And as much as it is counterintuitive, like it works. Like you just basically give them like body shots, you wear them down, and they get pissed off and frustrated. And then when the passing downs come, they don't even have anything left. Like that's usually how teams try to do it. And yeah, that strategy can work on teams that don't have Dexter Lawrence usually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too inside, nerdy football film, but I think you probably watched Texas' offense versus Michigan's defensive line, and the way Michigan, everyone knows, had Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, who are basically combined, probably a Dexter Lawrence. And like when those two were on the field, every run was outside. And when those two came off for a breather, every run was inside. So, hopefully Tanner Engstrand takes the same approach if he has to face Dexter Lawrence tonight, because I think that's the only way you're going to combat someone that talented.
Exactly. Yep.
So Dan, tell us about the 25-year New York Jets moments bracket. Tell us where we can vote. This is something that you put together. It's really good, dude.
I'm super excited for it because I just can't wait to see what everybody feels like is their, what's had the most impact on them, because these are just the moments we came up with of, impact over the last 25 years since 2000. I know someone mentioned the Vinny Achilles. That's a good shout. It was 1999, though. It just missed the cut. But it's a very good shout. That was a very disruptive day, I think, for everybody. But yeah, there's just all these little moments. And going through it, honestly, preparation, I was like shocked by how many things there were. I thought it would just be the same, like, kind of rotational moments that we tend to talk about. But I was like, wait, no, this was really important. This one was really important. Not to spoil anything, but like the Chad Morton game, like what? Just looking back, I was like, what the hell? Like it just doesn't happen anymore. Like especially it doesn't happen now, like with the kickoff rules change. So it's just like crazy stuff like that where you're like, yeah, that's you. Like, how did I like you forget about it for a moment, but then when you kind of live through it again, you're like, yeah, this has affected my Jets fandom. So it's just a lot of those moments put together. We get to go through memory lane a little bit and place our votes and see which one is the most impactful, most memorable.
The categories: tears of joy, aura farming, why us, and media moments region are for like they're so. I feel like you could show these to another like fans of another franchise, and they would be like, "What? What are you talking about with aura farming or why us?" Like these kind of only make sense to us. They're for such good categories, dude. When you revealed them, I was like, oh my God.
Why us could have been its own bracket. Like that's honestly, I'm more surprised that you can nail it down to one section.
I thought about that because the more like media moments I kept coming up with, I was like, these are all why us. I'm like, damn.
Basically, I'm basically pretending there's something else, but it's really just a why us.
Pretty much. Hey, we've been through a lot. That's what we keep saying, man. Like, hey, the home playoff game, like, oh man, it's so cool. Like, even watching back some of that stuff because you're just like, this is what you have to build this all to get to. Like, if we get Just one. Just one. It'll be insanely loud. Because just like listening, the Richie Anderson touchdown, like listening back to the crowd in that, I was like, damn.
I was there.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. It was insane. And we weren't sitting in our normal seats because the Jets they weren't that good that year. They weren't supposed to make the playoffs. And so I was young, I was a kid. And so my family didn't put the playoff deposit down because we were like, that's, because the Jets famously are like, they ask you for money like way, way earlier than you're comfortable giving the money. And
still do that now.
They still do that, right? And so we didn't put the playoff deposit down that year. And then last day of the season, they made it. We spent, I think my uncle and my brother, I think if I don't know if this is just like family legend at this point or if this is real, but they say that they were up all night drinking after the Jets won on Sunday and they drove straight into the city at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the NFL offices to like see if they could get tickets that way. And I don't think they did, because what ended up happening is that we had tickets all throughout the stadium. We were all in different places. And I was like, whatever I was like 14, 15 years old at that time. And I was just like by myself in the lower bowl in a completely unfamiliar section. And he caught that pass right in front of me and then just like darted down the sideline, kind of like running away from me. And like, my God.
Yeah, man. Like, can we just get one of those moments? Like, it's the Bills. I don't say I want to wish injury. Like, if Josh Allen just gets hurt for the year and they somehow be like a 9-8 division winner, like full NFC South vibes, dude, I don't care. Like, that place is going to be an absolute cauldron, regardless if the Jets win 14 games or win 9 games. Like, they just want that home playoff game. It's just been far too long.
I just love that idea, because what I think people, they remember when we have big games sometimes, but what I think people forget is that it's just about as hard to win there when the fans are rabid as anywhere else in the NFL.
Yeah.
And people forget that very often. Like,
Jets fans show up.
It's both
when
sides, right? And you could say the same about the Mets too. Like in a playoff atmosphere, that stadium it's deafening. You can't hear anything, but like it goes both ways, right? Like if you're putting on a stinker against Miami, you're gonna hear it. Like,
yes.
and last night I was telling Meegs at the beginning of the show, I took my in-laws who are Mariners fans to the game last night, and after the inevitable meltdown in the 7th inning, the place was just as loud as it had been earlier cheering. It was just as loud booing. And I don't know if they do that necessarily in Seattle. And they were like, man, like, you guys are rough here.
Yeah. We'll glaze you when you're good. We'll yell at you when you're bad. That's just what you get. And believe me, no one wants the Jets and the Mets, all these teams to be good more than the fans, because they've watched a lot of crummy baseball, a lot of crummy football, sitting in the middle of a 15-year playoff drought. It's hard to, it's so hard with the Glenn era, where it's like, I want to give Aaron Glenn all the time that he requires and give him the grace that he deserves, especially being someone who's been a Jet, has been a part of this culture, like isn't someone who's foreign to it. But you also can't run from the 900-pound elephant in the room that exists. Like, and he knows that when he took the job, which is why we hope he's the one who's cut out for it, because he's not running from it.
Exactly.
100%. We got a question from Bobby in the chat. What's the boys' pregame meal? Go to game day meal. I'm going to let you guys answer first.
I'm strictly just chicken wings. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm a huge buffalo wing fan. It's probably one of my favorite foods. It's any kind of buffalo wing. Any kind of barbecue, really, these days. Like, there's a couple – Long Island's actually got a couple of good, like, barbecue spots that have popped up in probably, I'd say, the past 5 to 10 years that has changed the game day experience for the better. As opposed to just chicken wings and pigs in the blanket. But I'm very partial to chicken wings. How about you, Paul?
So I do a thing, and I have said this, I think, on the other guys before. I do a thing where it's whoever they're playing, right? So think Miami, mahi-mahi, Cuban sandwich. Think Buffalo is buffalo wings. With the divisional opponents, honestly, it gets harder as the seasons go on, because I'm like, God damn, how many times can I make clam chowder or lobster rolls? But I try to do it and some of them are hard, right? Like a couple years ago, they played the Colts. I think it was the Mike White Josh Johnson Colts game.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
Dan!
my God.
Oh my God! I watched that game at a bar in Hoboken with Joe and Connor. That was one of the Badlands live events. Dan, I don't know if you were there for that one, but oh my God, that's one of the most miserable Jets games we've all watched together.
Awful.
Horrible. But Indy, like, I was like, man, what do they even eat in Indy? Like, what am I supposed to do here? So a lot of times it's like a lot of Googling. And I'm weird about cooking. I like to cook. And I found this weird sandwich. But like, my point is, like, I'm not going to go out and buy pre-made clam chowder. So like when I made clam chowder, I was like shucking the clams myself and like nightmare. Probably will never do that again. But the Indianapolis thing, it was like this weird pork tenderloin sandwich where it was like squashed thin and then like breaded. And like, as I was making it, I was like, man, this is gross. Like, this is like nasty Midwestern fat guy food. I took a bite and I was like, holy shit. Those guys know what they're doing out there.
They know what they're doing out there.
So sometimes I'll get surprised by something really good.
All right, Bobby in the chat asked you a follow-up for the Pittsburgh week 1. You know, what is the Yinzer meal that you're trying to devour before the Jets defense devours Aaron Rodgers?
I have not Googled it yet. It's usually like I'll start looking Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll go out and shop for it at the end of the week. But in the past, I've tried to do some like imitation Permane Brothers sandwiches. So I'll try to like figure out, you know, what the best seller is there and then try to replicate it at home. But I have not planned it yet. I'll say it on JetHeads. We can do it. Maybe I'll put the recipe in the comments.
Nice little tease. Nice little tease for the listeners.
Yeah,
all right, guys, come on.
Paul's house.
That's exactly. I'm waiting for the Paul Badlands. Just feast one of these weeks.
I can throw down.
We can do a live show together.
I really can. I can throw down a little bit.
Speaking of, I have to go eat right now, actually. But I appreciate
Go for it, man. Thank you so much for coming on, Dan.
Yeah.
See you guys. All right. Somebody call in.
Someone's got to call in, guys. Come on. We see you in the comments. We see you watching. We want to hear from you. You know, there are no dumb questions. You can't think of two people in the Badlands crew who literally say dumber things to each other than the two of us. Believe me, there are no dumb questions here. Call in. Tell us what's on your mind. You got a bet you want to place. You got a thing you want to get off your chest. This is the time. Jets haven't even got down to cut down day. Is there a preseason guy who's caught your attention that you just want to spotlight? Let us know, man.
Meegs, is it raining where you are?
No, this looks like it's pretty cloudy at the moment. How about you? Is it starting? Do you have to get a tent today, or is?
So I live pretty close to the stadium. I'm like, I could be at the stadium in 15 minutes. I grew up about 5 minutes from the stadium. I just heard thunder a few minutes ago, and I texted them. All my blinds are closed in my office here, so I can't see. But I heard thunder, and we have a lot of people outside for this kid's birthday party still. And I was like, was that thunder I just heard? And she texted me back, insane storm. You can't even see 5 feet in front of you because of the rain, which was not in the forecast. But I live pretty close to the stadium. I would assume this passes quickly, but hopefully we're not in for a delay. Let me ask you this. If we're getting a shitty weather game tonight, that's, I think, plays into even more of what we're trying to do.
Exactly. Run the ball, get the under, I think the thing that I would say most worried about is I don't understand the Giants quarterback plan from the fact that you signed Jameis, you signed Russ, and then you took a first round quarterback, but also you have a quarterback room that is probably going to look halfway decent against NFL third and fourth stringers. So that's where I'm a little do the Giants in the second half when the Jets are playing their third stringers and Jameis is out there who's too good to be playing against them. If they put him in after dart is the only thing I'm slightly worried about. But if the weather comes into a factor where the quarterback really can only just hand the ball off, I think that's really going to play into what we want to see the Jets do and what we're definitely gambling on from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Giants are doing their best Cleveland Browns impression. They're trying to do it, but they're just not as good as the Cleveland Browns. They couldn't do it the right way. I'm curious. We can put a pin in this for after John, but I'm curious if the Giants are going to do Kurt Warner, Eli Manning thing this year, if they're going to let Russ run for 6 weeks and then just yank it no matter what and go straight to Jackson Dart. I think that would be a mistake, but curious to see. John, how you doing? Thanks for calling in, man.
What's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
we can.
Feel loud and clear.
Awesome.
Let it rip.
So,
dude.
you know what? You know what really scares me the most? I mean, you're a high ankle sprain away on the tight end side from really being thin. Mm-hmm. And what do you guys see out potential free agents cuts that will be our targets.
I mean, I
Man.
think Noah Fant was the biggest one, and then he went right to Cincinnati. I remember when he got cut by was it
Denver.
Seattle? No, he
Oh,
was
yeah,
it was
Seattle,
Seattle because they traded him. And when they cut him, I was like, oh wow, the Jets going to pick him up. I don't know what to think of the tight end room. Like, I want to have my optimistic glasses on so much for Mason Taylor being like second round pick, immediately goes with the ones. The Jets just hit a guy so well, and he just nothing has really like slowed him down. Nothing seems like he's hitting like a wall or anything. But part of me is like, is the room just that bad that they just have no one else? And then if he injures his ankle again, which he's already done in the summer, like, are we trotting Rucker out there week one? Like, it's a real question. I just had to scour the rosters in that. I feel like the Eagles always have a couple tight ends, so always like to monitor their depth chart. I think like Harold Fannon's like running with their fours at this point, which I know our friend Max Toscano was very happy about because he was very against him during the draft process. But it's probably the thinnest room on the roster, and you're asking a rookie to play a big role from the beginning. This is why I think, is Kenny Yeboah going to come back again? Like, I feel like that's the type of body we're looking at. I don't.
Maybe
see
Lawrence
that.
Cager is still out there somewhere.
Maybe, but yeah, it's something that we're probably scared about the most.
Not to be the positive spin guy here, but can it get any worse than it has been the last 10 years? Like, I'm not sure it can, right? And we also haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. So I'm not saying that like, oh, it's all good because we've never had a tight end. But you're right, John, like that's, it is scary thin. And all of a sudden you're playing with Rucker and Stone Smart, which is like, hey, like Stone Smart, cool gadget player in the red zone. Rucker, you want to root for him. But is that a plan A? No, it's really not. I think I was encouraged by how fast Mason Taylor came back. Like, he was practicing again after what would be a pretty serious injury for a larger man like that. Somebody just said, I like Everett, Gerald Everett, Mercedes Lewis, Jeff Swaim, CJ Uzama. Oh my God. That's a horrible
this
list.
is the pond we're swimming in.
But I feel like there's always those weird kind of veterans that can come out there, and they're probably not going to give you a lot in the passing game. But like, can they be like a locker room guy that can hopefully get Rucker playing a little better? Who knows? I mean, it's a fair question, and it's a scary thing to think about. I think we should probably. So Max is going to have a whole segment with Dan where it's going to be like deep X and O conversation at the live show. I don't know if you'll be there, John, but it will be recorded. It'll be on Patreon after. We'll put a pin in that for Max and say, who's out there, or who do you think could be out there by the end of training camp?
Yeah, I want to end this on, I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with what they're doing with the secondary. I mean, I think they're going to match up well. It's going to depend on the types of receiving groups that the other teams have and what quarterback play, what schemes are going. But they have size, they got speed, they got zone players, they got man players. I mean, the safeties can cover lots of ground. They can come down into the box. Like, I'm really impressed with what I've seen from the first game and what I'm seeing, from the highlights on, from preseason and in the practice. So I just want to get you guys' comment on that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
I think the D-backs could very much be almost how the D-line was rotated the last 3 years in the solid times, but that was just to like give people a blow. I feel like it could be a similar situation on the back end, except it's intelligent now, where like you said, they're swapping in guys like a Swiss Army knife for, hey, you're in here for this reason. You're going to cover this receiver. We know this team is running this offensive scheme, so we're going to drop these 4 guys in because they're really strong at that. So there's a potential that could be like a really intelligent unit that's using a lot of bodies, and not just in a dummy save your breath way, but in a really like kind of pointed, deliberate way, which could be really, really fun.
Right. And with the safeties too, like, you're just seeing, Malachi Moore, just, he looks like a missile, coming into the box, man. I'm really impressed with the way he looks right now. So, I mean, everybody wants to complain about the wide receiver room, but I think they have like a decent amount of talent there. Some of them, I mean, if there's a guy that comes loose, after a cut, and you want to take a flyer, but I think they're going to be okay. It's going to be a run heavy team. And, I like the big guys. I like how they can block. Lazard's got to get his shoulder back in order, but, they're going to be, pushing players downfield, and that's going to be our game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I know back to the secondary, like look at Aaron Glenn everywhere he's been. How secondary players have really developed well under him. When he was a position coach, look how Marcus Williams and Marshawn Lattimore, blossomed under him. We look at all the Detroit players we talk about with Joseph, with Branch, like it's kind of his calling card. And while he's, in the big seat now as the head coach, you don't want to lose that. That's one of the reasons why he's been so successful as a position coach, as a coordinator. You still want him to be involved in that. And he knows what to look for in defensive backs. And hopefully, that was important when he was making those staff hires to find guys who view the same way he did when he was, in their roles so many years ago. The receiver point's a good one. Blocking is going to be the most important thing for them besides Garrett. You're not going to find a guy who's probably going to get 800 yards at this point of the season. Like, it just is what it is. You think Garrett's going to be very good. We paid him to be very good. Josh Reynolds is a pro. Lazard, I don't know. Like I said, I know he can block. It's just there's a lot of baggage, I think, with the fan base. There's a mental aspect of that I don't know how much is possible. Tyler Johnson has had a nice preseason, and hopefully the running backs, you can throw a couple 2-back sets in and use Davis can catch and Brees can catch, and we'll see how Braylon develops. I think Braylon's the most runner of the three of them, but they have a way to nickel and dime, you mirror this offense that they can put points on the board. They just, got to prepare.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. I think listen, everybody's a little down 5-6 wins this year, 7 wins. I think they're going to be pretty solid. I think I think we're going to have a team that we can be proud of.
Good.
I agree. I'm very much a coaching matters guy, and coaching matters more than we know. And we've been in such a bad coaching place for so long that I feel like it's worth a few wins. So I'm with you, John. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks so much, John.
Thanks.
It's great talking
to you. Thanks for having me.
Talk to you soon. Bye. On the wide receiver thing, Meegs, I have long been there's certain guys that I don't know how to frame it the right way, but I just get a weird spidey sense about. Amari Cooper's one of them that I don't want any part of Amari Cooper. I never have. But it's kind of it's getting late at the bar. You're looking around. Things start to look a little differently. The lights are low, right? And
are you calling Amari Cooper a 359er? To quote my father, I still remember the day he made that comment to me. I was like, dude, what are you talking about?
That's where I'm going. Is at what? And I don't know if you feel the same way about Amari Cooper than I do. Maybe you like the guy and you think he can contribute. I've always been hard anti Amari Cooper. At what point? I'm starting to look around and be like, you know what? If he's still unsigned at the end of training camp, maybe you do just bring him in. Where are you at with him?
I like him, I think, more than you. I think Amari Cooper got a bad rap in Dallas, and I think a lot of people thought he was more washed than he was. I thought he was legit good in Cleveland. It looks like it came at the end of the road. He wasn't great in Buffalo last year. Joining team midseason isn't exactly easy, so it's hard to pin that against him. But he's on the wrong side of 30. I think your first point's the best point. We can't really be beggars at this. Beggars can't be choosers at this point when it comes to this point of the season. Can he catch? Can he run routes? But when you're bringing a guy in at this point, you're asking him to learn the playbook on the fly. It's not like signing a guy, August 8th or doing a trial with a guy August 10th, and he's got a month before week 1.
So let me hit you with one that
we're under 20 days from when they play the Steelers. That's something you got to realize at this point.
So let me hit you with an even worse name, who's definitely washed, but probably could get up to speed on the playbook faster. Allen Robinson, where you at?
Yeah, he's cooked. Yeah, he's so cooked. I thought you were gonna say Gabe Davis, which I was like, ooh, a Bill.
Gabe Davis is another Spidey sense guy for me that I just don't. I don't want to touch him no matter what.
This one, I think Tyler Boyd's in the Gabe Davis thing, where it's was a good pro. Remember he was the hot Jets free agent. Was that last year, 2 years ago, when Cincinnati comes Jets got to sign Tyler Boyd. And I was just do they? Do they have to sign Tyler Boyd? The Jets signed Tyler Boyd to be okay. I wouldn't put the Jets have to do this on there. Nelson Aguilar, I feel has always had a bad rap because he can't catch, but also probably plays a little better than his reputation. But again, this is the kind of people we're talking about. Odell's not coming here. Like we don't have to like the maybe one of the biggest almost Jets because it felt like he could have been a Jet 4 different times.
Yep. It felt like it kept boomeranging back on us a few times.
From draft night on, it just felt like there was so many like two ships passing tonight. They almost like collided at least 3 or 4 times. It felt like
Odell Beckham, and this is definitely some Giants hate in me, but like Odell Beckham might be a player that has the biggest gap between who people think they are and what their actual real career production has actually been. That catch made that man. And good for him, right? Like, get your money, dude. But like, has he been a good NFL wide receiver throughout his career? Like, not really.
He's a peak player. Like, I will remember Odell's peak. I won't remember his longevity. He was a shooting star who burned bright, but he burned out very quickly. But I will give the man credit. He was very integral for the Rams playoff run.
Yeah.
For how many people in this town did say, Mike Francesa, he's not a winning player. He doesn't like water. What he doesn't like is winning is like one of my favorite Francesa quotes of all time. But he was very integral. Fortunately, got hurt in the Super Bowl in that regard, but he was very good that playoff run. He did change the math for them when they were just basically Cooper Kupp and Prey outside of him with that offense. But, like I said, at this point in his career, I just think, you're not putting that hay in the barn.
I think, just to try to put a bow on the wide receiver conversation, like, I think we could debate all day about the names and like who's out there and can this guy help and do we need to pay a veteran $20 million and all this stuff. But like at the end of the day, we're going to know what the answer to the question is based on if they actually do something. Like if they bring one of these guys that we just mentioned in, something's wrong. Like it's not a good situation if they're coming in because again, there's so much catch up that has to be played and learning the playbook and you're inserting a guy who hasn't been with you the whole time. That if that lever is pulled, that means Tyler Johnson's not doing as good as we thought he was. That means Arian Smith is not coming along. That means Lazard's injury is either long-term or they're just planning on injury stashing him and cutting him. Like that means Malachi Corley is not making this roster. Like if that lever is pulled, you got to start looking at the rest of that room and being like, oh God, like it's actually a desperate situation here. But if it's not pulled, we don't have the trust developed yet with the coaching staff where we're like, okay, they've determined they don't need it. We're good. Hopefully that this coaching staff will earn that trust over time because we all want them to. Like we all feel really good about them. But we'll see. I mean, if they don't pull that lever, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm misremembering this, and I apologize for the Google mid-show, but I think the one staff member, Aaron Glenn, retained was Sean Jefferson, the receivers coach, if memory serves. So if we are all in on Aaron Glenn, and I think most members of the podcast, most members of the fan base really are excited about him, there's a reason why this staff, which got, we MF to high heaven last year about how bad they were, how, why Aaron Glenn and his staff is needed because of the changes they're going to make. He picked to retain one guy. Hopefully there was a reason for that because Sean Jefferson does have a nice track record around the league. He seemed when he was hired by Adam Gase, I was like one of the few coaches were like, oh wow, this guy doesn't look like a complete failure like the rest of that staff. And he went to Arizona. He came back he developed his own son in Van Jefferson. So hopefully there's one. Hopefully whether it's Tyler Johnson, whether it's Arian Smith, hopefully one of these guys is able to find their way to 400 yards that we're just not penciling in.
You have to think Garrett Wilson had a hand at least in that, right?
Yeah. I think Fields is here because of Garrett Wilson. I said that to you at Churchill's in December when Joe asked me who I think the Jets quarterback was going to be in 2025. I thought it was going to be Fields because I thought they wanted to make Garrett happy. It's you can say good franchises don't cater to players and blah blah blah. I was like, all right, dude, the Jets are the Jets. Like, if you want your players to extend here long term, sometimes you got to make some consolation. So
there's a difference between catering to Aaron Rodgers and catering to a wide receiver that you drafted where you drafted him and has shown like consummate good soldier status in his first 3
doesn't
seasons
get hurt,
where
produces every year, doesn't complain to the media. I don't have to worry about what Garrett Wilson's doing, what Garrett Wilson's wearing, what he's saying about X or Y. He's the most linebacker-like receiver where it's that guy's a lunch pail guy with a total wide receiver persona on the field. There's just not a lot of guys like him.
And it's a guy you do cater to, right? If you didn't, it would almost be like, wait, so you're going to jump all through these hoops for Aaron Rodgers, but you're not going to do it for this guy. Like that's almost a black mark on the franchise if you do that. So yeah, I'm good with it.
All right. Bobby asked us, what is our score prediction for tonight? In lieu with my under, I am going to go 23-13 Jets.
I am going to go 26 to, I'm going to say 16.
Oh, so we make the under by half a point. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, I do think the Jets will win. The Jets tried in preseason. The Giants, I think their game at the Bills got a little wonky. I don't think this is going to be as high scoring. I don't think either offense is, great shakes. If there's a special teams swing play or, another defensive touchdown, it would not overly shock me the way the Jets defense is playing these days.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you last week. Do we see anybody in a spot that we're like, oh, what is he doing there? Kind of like we saw with not John Beck, Andrew Beck last week, where it was like, oh, wow, he got a bunch of reps to tight end. That's interesting. Do we see Edwards at it? We heard he was taking special teams reps this year or this week at returner. Like, is he back there running a kick?
I don't think so. I think they're going to stick with their, his name escapes me. It's not God. Oh,
hello, boys.
I didn't think we were getting this tonight. This is an on the work call. The Mets,
you know what happened?
I saw Diaz let a home run.
I know what happened is that the Mets game ended 30 seconds ago.
That's
why
exactly right. There was zero chance. Well, I was doing something watching you guys on the phone. The show's been great. The callers have been awesome. But then I came in and to watch the ninth, because I've seen this game 14 times in the last 15 or whatever it is, and it actually ended on a high note. And now we go straight to Jets-Giants Snoopy Bowl.
Exactly. What's your prediction for tonight, bud?
I think the Jets win. I'll go – I missed you guys your predictions. I'm going to go 21-13.
Okay, I said 23-13. So we're
pretty close to where we were.
We bet the under. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like Russ is playing. Or all these teams started to hold it close to the vest.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's impossible to find inactives for preseason.
Yeah, and the teams are just not saying now. So, and the Giants have 8 million quarterbacks, so they probably want to get them to the reps anyway. And, obviously for the Jets, what kind of hurts is that if Tyrod was playing a quarter in this game, you're like, oh, the Jets are going to roll over people in the preseason. But all I want to see is if the Giants have a edge rusher standing up over a guard or center, somebody needs to climb and wipe them out as the run play goes exactly to that gap. That is I don't care if it's 3rd and 6. You are running the ball to that gap. It's the preseason.
That was probably the first 20 minutes of the show tonight was just run at Kayvon Thibodeau every time he's on the field.
Don't pass on the first drive. Run 9 times. Make them stop you.
No. Yeah. Just run the ball. So it's got a little juice this game because as you guys I did hear you talking about KT a lot. He's always got something to say. So now the game has juice to it, and I'm kind of curious how it looks, and obviously a lot of these guys are playing for jobs, and it's kind of, it's getting down to it here where you're trying to make a roster. So, I like preseason football being a draft guy, but I think this game does have a little more juice than your typical preseason game.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I go between I'm a dork for caring about this and no, but I actually do. I want to beat up on them.
Yeah. I don't want to lose to them.
Yeah. You don't want to get rolled over no matter who's out there. Look at the Ravens every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's culture.
Yeah, it's culture. They treat it like a playoff game. So, fellas, great stuff. Feels like we're right around kickoff. I don't want to take up too much time. I was glad I got to jump on here. You guys are killing it, and everybody's been awesome. A lot of good takes. I saw John M. all in on the secondary. I like that a lot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. We're about tight ends secondary. I think I agree with him.
Yeah, I'm with him all the way. I'll let you guys do the honors to close it out, but thanks for popping me on.
Thanks, Connor.
Later, man.
All right. We are right up on it here. So let's enjoy this game. Let's get out clean, no injuries, and let's try to hurt some people on the other side.
Yeah, beat the Giants, buy tickets to the live show. We're getting so close. I said, I think we're getting very close to capacity. I think last time we talked about it, I think there was less than 30 tickets left for us to get there. So buy your tickets. I love procrastinating more than anyone, but we are basically going to be there a week from this exact moment. Hopefully being very excited about the Jets being 3-0 in preseason.
It's going to be a fun night. Enjoy the game. Thanks everybody for coming tonight. We'll see you next week.